Hello, everyone. I'm Melissa McAllister, and you're listening to The Melissa Made Show. Now, for decades, I've dedicated myself to helping women break the cycle of dieting, navigate through all the fads, and change their lives through my nutrition coaching. Now, each week, I'm going to talk about everything from deep nutrition, mindset, self-care, the ideal workout routine, tips on how and why to implement intermittent fasting in your life, my favorite recipes that are not only crowd pleasers, but they're actually healthy for you, and so much more. Now, with small and consistent changes, you can defy aging while living a happier, healthier, and more heart-filled life. I'm so excited to show you it's possible with the right strategies that are so simple to adopt. Hello, everybody, and welcome back. This is episode 2, and I'm almost feeling a reoccurring. This just needs to be like a series, like the Real Talk with Renee or something like that.
I like it.
She's such a freaking blessing to me. And I was thinking about her a lot today when I was just thinking about the other podcast that we did. And people come into your lives, for a reason. And as someone who's, a nutritionist like she is, you could have that mentality of, you could get imposter syndrome for sure. You can let your ego get in the way and find faults in that person because, in your heart of hearts, you're like, they're better than me. I need to find faults in them. Or you can literally embrace the fact that you're just so blessed to have someone like this in your life that allows you to learn. And I sat here during that last podcast. Speaking of which, if you didn't listen to the first one, go do that. Pause this one. Go listen to that one first, and then come back and listen to this one because she just really brought it home for me. I just sat there like this the whole time, just listening to her, and I'm making her blush, but it is true. I just really feel so grateful to have her as a friend and here on the podcast. And in case you're not going to listen to the first one first, I do want to give her a proper introduction. So I'm going to tell you a few of her credentials before we get started, just so you have an idea of the genius that you get to listen to. So she is got her BS in dietetics, her MS in applied clinical nutrition, MS in holistic nutrition, certified clinical nutritionist, board certified in nutritional wellness. So I think it's funny. She's got her BS, MS, CCN, and CNW. So she's almost the whole alphabet behind her name, and has been in this industry for, decades. And I mentioned last time, which you didn't say anything about, but I recall you being a fitness competitor as well, right? In that arena for a while. So she's got the whole nutritional side covered. And obviously she knows her fitness in the body as well when it comes to that kind of a thing. But today we're going to dive into a few more supplements. And so this could be episode 2 for a while, or we might need to go on more because as you guys know, you walk into any health food store and it's just mind blowing. There's something from A to Z, and you start to think, wow, do I really need all of these things? And so Renee and I are really just trying to focus on the things that we think every healthy and, working to be healthy human body should have in their diet. So we are going to go all the way to the end to start, and we're going to talk about the mineral zinc. So do you want to share with our audience, Renee, the importance of zinc?
Hey, Melissa, thank you so much for that beautiful introduction. And yes, you make me blush and you make me smile. And I'm blessed to call you friend as well. So thank you so much for giving me a platform to speak. I am very passionate about sharing nutrition and knowledge. And I do this because I believe that when you have knowledge, you have freedom. When you have knowledge, you have freedom. And that has continuously blessed me to share knowledge and to see people just transform and be the best that they can be. So on that note with zinc, I remember zinc being one of the first things I learned about way back. And part of my passion in this whole nutrition journey and sharing things with people is when you realize when you're deficient in something, and then you can change your diet, or you can put that deficiency into your body and see a result and all of a sudden feel better and get better. There's so much power in that knowledge, and you're set free. Well, who would have thought that zinc, of all things, has so many purposes? Here's a little trick. Everyone look at their fingernail beds right now. Do you see any white lines? Any white lines at all? Any white lines? If you're saying no, that's good. Yay. If you see white lines on your nail beds, that is a sign of a zinc deficiency. And by the time you have little white lines in your nail beds, that's a big zinc deficiency. So, zinc is a mineral. A mineral is what we call a cofactor, or something that starts the engine for other things to work. So we always need minerals to help other parts of the body work effectively. Now, right now, because of what's going on in current conditions, a lot of us understand and are familiar with zinc as far as immune system support. Is that true? Yes, it is. Our immune system requires zinc, and when our zinc levels are lower, our immune system response can be lower as well. But we also need zinc to help with other body functions. Just like I had talked about in part 1, we need the mineral magnesium to help us complete different body functions. Zinc, when you're low in zinc, you will lose taste and smell. And so there's many things happening these days where people are losing their taste and smell. The zinc has been zapped out of them. Their immune system is low. Zinc will help bring that back up. Now, here's an interesting one. So hormones. I'm really, really big in hormones, health and wellness, and anti-aging as well. That's one of my specialties. So let's talk testosterone. Zinc is required by the testes to create testosterone sperm. So when our zinc is low, our output of our own sex hormones, if you are a male, can also be low, which is why young men have testosterone surges throughout their life, several different surges, because that is what is giving them their little bursts of creating more of the male characteristics, as it should be. And if they're low in zinc during those times, they're not pulling enough of the testosterone production that they need for that surge in their life at that time to do more of the puberty and development, things like that. So always watch the fingernail beds, especially if you have adolescents, if the zinc is too low. But great formula. And zinc does need to be chelated. What does that mean? It means it's more absorbable to the body if it's attached to other minerals that help it absorb into the body. Metagenics provides one called Zinc AG, which means that zinc is combined with arginate and glycinate. And that's the reason why. Some minerals are real hard to absorb. And so we always make sure that the delivery system is such where you don't have any problems.
One of my favorite things is the science behind the adding other things to make that actual vitamin or that actual mineral work really well, is to have, those cofactors and stuff. And oysters, happen to be a really good source of zinc. But especially when you're talking about adolescent men, young men really, really needing zinc, especially as they're turning into men. How many young men do you know love oysters and want to eat them? Probably not a whole lot. Not, I never made that for my son. So, it can be found in nuts and seeds and stuff like that. But the greatest source is oysters. And you're just not going to find very many people who are going to eat those on a regular basis to keep, the zinc up. So it is a very important one to supplement.
And speaking of hormones, one thing I have to add about zinc is zinc in and of itself, one of its functions is to help limit the conversion of testosterone to estrogen. This is a big thing for men, especially if they're on testosterone therapy. Testosterone can convert in the body to estrogen. Zinc will limit the body's conversion of testosterone to estrogen. So when you're making your own testosterone or you're on testosterone therapy, you want it to stay testosterone. So you're doing and getting all the functionality of what it needs to do and not turning into a different hormone called estrogen. Zinc naturally does that.
Keep you from getting the dad bod. We don't want the dad bod, especially if you're, trying to get stronger. So I'm going to switch gears, and I've asked Renee to talk about one of the very first products that I heard of, and I know it's available everywhere, but I do believe that metagenics was one of the pioneers, and the importance of this particular supplement. And I could be wrong. Renee can challenge me on this, but I do believe it is one of their, when I say flagship products, that it's just one of those things that, if you go to a big convention on nutraceuticals, metagenics would stand up there loud and proud and say, we have SPM active, which is an incredible supplement that I actually have Mick on for the sole purpose of its anti-inflammatory properties. But I want you guys to get kind of a more detailed explanation. So she's going to get kind of detailed, but trust me, if you are a living, breathing human being, you want to understand this particular product and why it might be a benefit in your life, if you don't mind sharing.
Sure, thank you. So SPM active contains what is called SPMs. So let's talk about what that is. SPM stands for a really long word, specialized pro-resolving mediators, but we're not going to call it that. I want you to think of an SPM as a construction worker in the body that helps clean up any mess or damage that's been created in the body by inflammation, and also kicks inflammation to the curb and says, you got to go home now, you got to leave, pull you out of the body, bye, you're gone. So SPMs are about resolving any lingering inflammation that's going on in the body and cleaning up any mess that the inflammation may have created. Why is this so important? Okay, let's talk about inflammation. Where does inflammation come from? What induces inflammation? Inflammation could come from something like eating foods that you're actually intolerant to or allergic to, like dairy or gluten. You eat those types of things, it creates a low-grade inflammation in the body. You might not feel that, but you are having an inflammatory reaction in your gut. That lingers, it stays around. Maybe you're having a on purpose induced type of inflammation, like surgery, or if you're someone who likes aesthetics, an injection of some kind. I've had 3 ankle surgeries. I've gone under the knife quite a few times. I've had my bones sawed in half and opened up to do surgical procedures. That was intentional because I needed my foot fixed, but that created a lot of inflammation. So there's this recovery process. How do we get that now to turn off and go into recovery mode? By the time you are perhaps diabetic or overweight or have high cholesterol, high insulin, things like that, anything cognitive, depression, that's brain inflammation. Aging, the aging process is induced by inflammation. The more inflammation you have, the faster rate your skin is aging and wrinkles are producing. When your cholesterol is high and it meets with inflammation in the body, it produces a heart attack. That is what we know as the silent killer. Inflammation is bad. Now, there could be allergies out there, environmental allergies, you're breathing things in, you're going to work out, you are doing all these wonderful things that you should be doing at the gym, but you're creating inflammation. Stress is creating inflammation. Sorry, but all that wine we love, creates inflammation. So all this inflammation comes from everywhere, sometimes for good reasons and sometimes for bad reasons. What do? The first process in the body is, because of what came in, the immune system response will be to initiate the inflammatory response to that. It senses something bad has happened. We have an inflammatory response because what the immune system is trying to do is send out workers to go against anything bad or foreign or contaminant or injury that just happened in the body. We actually need that to occur because we're trying to get to the stage further along in the path where we can clean that all up, make it better, and go on. This is where an SPM comes in. SPMs are actually naturally occurring in the human body. We find them in breast milk, in human milk. When you nurse your babies, you're giving them SPMs. Babies who nurse are the most not inflamed human beings ever. They're literally getting this as a part of nutrition. So we are supposed to be making this ourselves. And again, an SPM is, think of that construction worker that would tell all that inflammation and damaging thing in the body to go away now, clean up the mess, let's repair and recover. An SPM has to tell the part of the immune system that was activated to begin inflammation, wreak havoc on the body, create bruising, pus, pain, redness, soreness, swelling. An SPM tells the immune system to stop all of that, turn it off, send out the construction crew that will now clean up all that debris, make your house look like a tornado never hit it, fix it, make it new again, and take all the inflammation away and turn it down, turn it off, resolve it. The problem is that as we age, we make less SPMs. Depending on our lifestyle and how nutritionally deficient we are, we make less SPMs. Depending on our need for EPA and DHA, we make less SPMs. Let me explain. SPMs are created in the body from something called EPA and DHA, which comes from fish oil. So could we just take fish oil to have an SPM? No. Do not think that you can go take fish oil and then you'll just have SPMs. You have to turn what's in fish oil into an SPM, but that's done in the cell. And you need all these enzymes and cofactors and minerals and things like that to make it change over into an SPM. As we age, we have less of an ability to do this, which is why we have chronic disease states that don't go away. Autoimmune disease states, lupus, autoimmune conditions with our gut, Crohn's, colitis, SIBO, hives, skin conditions, asthma, all of those things are autoimmune conditions. What that really is inflammation that never turns off. Now, when you have diabetes and high cholesterol, when you have higher fat tissue in your body, those are actually linked to inflammation signaling that won't turn off. So we need some help. When we take an SPM supplementally, so now we're just putting it in the body because our body isn't good at making it anymore, those construction workers go right to work. And they say, okay, inflammation that's been lingering and won't turn off, you're done now. Switch off. Inflammation's been running in the on switch, and SPM says, nope, switch off. Any damage that has occurred, any debris, any trauma, swelling, bruising, pus, that type of thing, cleans it all up. And sometimes you have trauma or things in the body that you don't see. It's not all superficial. It's a lot at the cellular level. So it's cleaning all that up as well. So why is taking an SPM so important? Inflammation is a silent killer, and you don't always feel inflammation. I just explained to you all the different ways that inflammation can come into our bodies. So we have inflammatory reactions all day long. As a weightlifter, bodybuilder myself, I'm in the gym quite a bit, several times, always putting stress on my body. I have the issues with my ankle. I'm older. I'm 51. So as we age, we make less of it. I have my husband on SPMs as well. Anything chronic that you have pain all the time, that's a constant inflammatory state. And you don't have enough SPMs to help your body understand that inflammation is time to go, no more pain, and no more after effects of that. So taking SPMs can also be for prevention and wellness. Let's prevent the inflammation that's occurring and aging my skin and my body. Let's prevent the inflammation that might be targeting my brain and producing depression and cognitive decline, meaning the brain's not working so good, the thought process is going down, can't put thought patterns together, just, I don't remember. Let's prevent not being able to repair the body after working out. Let's prevent cholesterol molecules from needing inflammation in the body and producing heart attacks. Let's just prevent all of that. So it's also a part of wellness. So even if you don't have some type of health condition, if you're into anti-aging, wellness, or fitness, or anything like that, if you're into aesthetics, hormones, if you get injections, you're bruising, anything like that, make sure you're taking SPMs with that, because any surgical induction with the bruising and the pain, SPMs, it just sends in the construction workers real quick. That says, nope, we got to clean that up.
Yeah, for sure. And as you can see, my forehead barely moves. I like my injections, but I want everyone to understand that when you hear the word, SPMs or SPM active, and I look at this huge catalog, for me, I'm grabbing the magnesium and I'm grabbing the probiotics. And I didn't think anything of this product until you and I had met. And I told you that Mick was having that back surgery. And you're like, as a gift, you gifted Mick a bottle of the SPM active to help him through his recovery, which, believe it or not, and I can't give SPM active, 100% of the credit. I'm sure it was my fine cooking and well caretaking. But when he went to go see his doctor after 3 months after surgery, he says, you look like someone who's been a year out, not 3 months out. He was absolutely amazed at how fast he healed. And for those of you that have been following me for a while, my husband is anything, but I'm just going to lay in bed and rest and recover. He still got up as fast as he could and went back to normal life. And actually went skiing 3 weeks afterwards because he's an idiot. But that's, it's a testimony to the fact that I do know that helped. And I'm grateful for you for introducing that. And it's something that I have both of us take now, because it's not only, the chronic, especially the older you get, the chronic response to inflammation just happens more often, and prevention is key. So I'm very, very much in love with that product. And that was such a good description. And when you were saying construction worker, I kept thinking to myself, I'm thinking bouncer. I want like this big old bouncer at the door to be like, no, you need to get out. So I'm going to take your story, but I'm going to make it a bouncer instead of a construction worker.
It's a great story. And I will throw out for you guys just understanding quality. Dr. Sirhan was the discoverer of SPMs. So SPMs have been around since forever, but the ability technology-wise to put them in supplemental form, we've only had that for several years now. So metagenics does have the patent on, or the exclusive rights to the manufacturer of the company that gives us SBMs that is attached to all the human clinical data.
Wow.
So its application in use with humans is very extensive now, and we source it from there. So you can help many of your people with those conditions.
Absolutely. So you mentioned your age, which I'm grateful, because I was going to, mention that I'm 47, and I was going to say Renee's close to me. I mean, her and I, we joke how parallel we are. She's my sister from another mister. But speaking of being 47 and 51, and obviously I do get my demographic a lot. And so women that are going through, starting to go through that change, perimenopause, menopause, postmenopause, are always looking for help when it comes to hot flashes and mood swings and just, sleepless nights and cold sweats and all that thing that happens during this change. Again, I started taking a product called Estrovera. For me at this point, I'm taking it to make that change very gradual. And I truly believe, I'm 47 and I've been taking it now for probably about 6 months, and I'm still 100% feel like my 30-year-old self. And so I intend to continue to take that through. But Estrovera is a really good product for women that are starting through that change. And because it is something I'm asked about all the time, I thought that I would give you the opportunity to share that product and how it can be helpful for women, us mature women out there.
Sure. Great formula to discuss. So since I have a lot of personal experience with this, I will go ahead and give you my personal story, and hopefully it'll help some of you out there. Estrovera is Siberian rhubarb. Siberian rhubarb is a cousin to the family of rhubarb that we're familiar with eating, rhubarb pie and that type of thing. But Siberian rhubarb is not estrogen. If you saw its molecular structure, it doesn't even look like estrogen. It will not create estrogen in the body. It does not raise estrogen in the body. It is a plant compound. So this plant compound, Siberian rhubarb, not to be confused with the edible rhubarb. Don't think if you go get a lot of rhubarb that this is going to do that, because that's not it at all.
Pie isn't going to fix it?
No. But Siberian rhubarb, in our formula, it's called Estrovera. It has the ability to communicate with the little telephones in our body that hear messages from the hormone estrogen. So Siberian rhubarb from Estrovera walks around in the body, finds all the estrogen telephones, docks at the telephone base, and starts sending the messages, just like estrogen should be doing. So when our estrogen starts to dip and decline, whether perimenopause or full-on menopause, what happens is we get less signaling through the telephone into the cell. That message from estrogen is supposed to tell different things in the body, commands, things that they're supposed to do. Set your temperature thermostat the right way. If you're not hearing that message, you're having night sweats and hot flashes. Set your brain the right way. If you're not hearing that message, you have a foggy brain. You can't think straight. Irritability is a big one. Vaginal dryness, bone pain, inflammation in your bones, and that type of thing. Even the vaginal infections and UTI infections, that comes from needing estrogen to send messages. So Estrovera, Siberian rhubarb, will speak to those telephone bases and send the same messages, but it's not estrogen. So I started taking Estrovera about maybe 3 or 4 years ago. And the reason why is because, was minding my own business, putting my laundry away, and I started having I just started sweating. It was in the evening and I just started with some kind of sweat. And I'm like, something is wrong here. And I knew what was going on because I specialize in hormones and I figured it out. And I'm like, you're joking, right? So I happened to have some Estrovera at the house. I wasn't taking it, but I had a bottle. And I said, well, let me take some right now. That sweating episode that I was having started to diminish. It didn't fully go away. So the next evening, it happened again. I said, okay, I think I really know what's happening here. So I took another Estrovera. By the third day, no more sweating. And I just decided to preempt all of this. I knew exactly what was happening. And I never stopped taking it since that day. What I noticed after 1 week of taking the Estrovera, the Siberian Rhubarb, is that I had a lot of irritability that diminished. And my mood was better and I could think better. And it dawned on me that those issues were my estrogen dipping throughout my cycle and being lower. So not menopause, I was perimenopause. And what that means is, yes, your estrogen is declining, but 1 week it's a good level. The next week it's too low. 1 week it's a good level. So you feel bipolar, for lack of better words, up and down, up and down, up and down. So you can have anxiety, irritability, mood instability, not be able to sleep. And then 1 week you're just fine. You don't necessarily have full-on hot flashes until your estrogen has completely bottomed out and you're having this back and forth with not having periods. So I stayed on the Estrovera. And yeah, I'm 51 now, never had another night sweat, and I have not had a single hot flash ever. Estrovera is a game changer. So whether you're perimenopause and not ready for estrogen yet, or you're menopausal having hot flashes and just don't want to do the hormone estrogen and want to give this a try, definitely it's a game changer. It will change your life. One rule: you have to take Estrovera at the same time every day. If you do not take it at the same time every day, it will not work. You need to have it in your body all the time. I put it right by my sink, by my toothbrush. Every morning I brush my teeth, take the Estrovera.
Good tip. And I'm 80% there. I got to get better. I'm in the afternoon, and that's about my, I need to zero that in. So before, I have two more that I want Renee to talk about really fast. But before we get to those, I want to ask you guys in the comment section below, are there, supplements or vitamins or minerals or anything that you hear about all the time and you're just like, oh, is this hype? Is this something that I need? And I'm not saying any of these aren't good, but echinacea and ginkgo biloba and as resveratrol, which happens to be in phytomulti, but you hear all of these supplements and stuff coming out and you wonder, this is the woman to ask. So share below, and we will have her back to share some of the things, on her expertise on some of the things that you've heard that maybe we're not covering. But two more to go that, because selfishly, I bring people onto this podcast that I want to learn from and what I want to hear what they have to say. And so for me, and I've been sharing a lot on my social media, another vitamin that's really important for our overall health is vitamin C. Mm-hmm. One that we've heard about I remember being a little kid and getting a chewable vitamin C just because vitamin C is good for you, and actually eating it like candy because it tasted good. So what are your thoughts on, vitamin C and I guess some tips and tricks on how to take it, because it is a little tricky.
Mm-hmm. Great. Vitamin C probably is most commonly known by everyone for, you're sick, drink your orange juice, get some vitamin C. That's probably its biggest correlation. But vitamin C is very supportive to our adrenal glands. So what is an adrenal gland? just know it's the gland in the body that supports us when we're super stressed out. So any stress that we have could be good, could be bad. We're moving, we're going on vacation, we're going to the gym, that causes stress, or you're going through a really hard time in your life, that causes stress. Stress leads to burnout. Our adrenal gland needs vitamin C. And sometimes just taking vitamin C can support our adrenal gland, and now we can support the stress in our life better, and we do actually feel better.
Yeah.
But here's the thing about taking vitamin C. When I say vitamin C, it's otherwise known as ascorbic acid. And it is just that, just the vitamin C. But if we're talking about consuming things in the way that would make it most effective in the body, we need to understand that vitamin C needs friends, partners in this whole mission. So if you haven't put two and two together yet, everything I talk about that comes from metagenics, their delivery system and whatever it needs to be combined with to work in the body the right way, that's how we formulate our products. So with vitamin C, our vitamin C, it needs to be combined with what is called bioflavonoids in order for it to really work the best. So here's an example. If you had an orange and you took the peel off and all the white pulp and everything and just removed it and you just squeezed the juice out, that's vitamin C. But you know where all its friends are and all its partners? It's in that white pulp and some of the peel.
I love you sharing that.
Are you going to eat the orange rind? But you should. The things that are in there are wonderful for our veins and lowering inflammation and so many other things. But it also acts as a really wonderful friend that holds vitamin C's hand and walks it into the job it's supposed to do and helps it do it better. So with our ultra potent C formula, we have everything with the vitamin C that needs to be there for it to work the right way. And it's also buffered, so it's gentle to the stomach. But we do have a patent on the technology of the delivery system. Mm-hmm. This is why Metagenics Ultra Potent C is so amazing. For immune system support, vitamin C, what it will do is it will help boost the immune system, give a boost in the immune system, what we call our white blood cells, but boost our immune system to increase in number. So when you're getting sick and you're taking vitamin C and you're increasing the workers in your body who are going to go fight the bad guys, the viruses and the bacteria, that's what's helping you get better. So with Metagenics Ultra Potent C, you take this, you're increasing the amount of immune system workers you have. This is happening, the bioavailability, within the first hour. So you can have an immediate immune system response to just going out and killing all those bad guys. When you take ascorbic acid by itself, you actually have a dip in your immune system workers over a 4-hour period before it boosts back up again. So we bypassed all of that. This is why it's called ultra potent C with patented technology to get into your system and to work really good. So taking this every day will boost your immune system every day and also help keep you from being so stressed out.
Love it. Love it. Who'd have thought? I mean, when you vitamin C, you think sickness, you don't think things like what you shared. And I love that. So we're coming to our last one. And I think it's kind of funny that we're ending with what I would love Renee to talk about, melatonin. So this is going to set you ready to go to sleep. I don't know what time you're listening to this, but melatonin has obviously taken on kind of a big role here lately because they talk more about it. I mean, it does so many more processes in the body than just help you sleep, and its importance, and of course your circadian rhythm and how you sleep and eat plays a huge role in your natural melatonin production. But many people have, very low melatonin, and it's been shown to help with supplementing. And I will share, one of my really, really good friends, Dr. Lauren, is a functional medicine doctor, and I don't know if she still feels this way, so she might watch this and call me out on it, or maybe she'll put it in the comments, but her and I used to, we still do groups together. And she feels like, at least back in the day, she felt like melatonin is something that should only be taken short term, where I have kind of, the research that I've learned is that melatonin is okay to take in small amounts, on a consecutive basis, that it is a hormone, and it actually, it doesn't necessarily lower your own natural production, but it does aid in so many processes in the body. So you might be on Dr. Lauren's side, you might be on Melissa's side. Renee will hear on whether or not it's something you can take long-term, or if it should just be short-term. But there's just so much science coming out on it. They're just learning so much about it. I find it fascinating. So I would love for you to end our little TED Talk today on melatonin.
Okay, thank you. So melatonin is a hormone that we make. We actually make it when darkness presents itself. So we're in front of screens all the time. This is why, as we are approaching evening time, we should put those tablets away and put those phones away. Get away from all that light, because it's the sunshine going away and the light going away and the darkness coming that is stimulating our brain and telling our brain to start with the melatonin production. That melatonin, yes, does help with our sleep. So my perspective on whether or not we need melatonin, really, honestly, to be honest with you, is individual. You'll find that some individuals will take melatonin and it does nothing at all. Or so that is their comment. Some individuals take melatonin and they really notice a difference. I think it is per the individual and how deficient they are. So could some things be changing in the lifestyle, their environment and that kind of thing to help with melatonin production? Sure. But you know what? We have a lot of shift workers. We have firefighters. We have police officers. We have military personnel. We have emergency response personnel, our ER docs, our nurses, all of our shift workers who are going against their rhythm, staying up on purpose, keeping light on when it should be dark, and it's messing up that melatonin production. And it can be used very therapeutically for those who maybe need to supplement melatonin in the morning when they're trying to go to sleep. So it has its purpose where applicable. Melatonin can be found in metagenics formula called benisome. What we do is there's a combination of melatonin with some natural sleep herbs that will help promote calmness and sleepiness. But we also combine two minerals, calcium and magnesium, that are naturally mineral tranquilizers to the nervous system and the muscles in the body. So all of that combined with the melatonin just sort of aids in the ease of tranquility and easing down. The melatonin's kicking in, then you're sleeping through the night. So you can find that there. There's the jury's out, the school is out on different milligram dosing for melatonin. To be honest with you, my opinion so far is just one size does not fit all. And I really think that as an individual, you just have to try it and see.
I'm sitting here, you're probably looking at me going, why are you smiling so big? Because when you you said it's combined with muscle tranquilizers, I knew every single person that listened to the first one answered you. But that's what an educator you are. I just smile because I'm like, I know everybody listening to this answered magnesium before you even did, because you've taught us so much. So we did great. But like I wanted to say, you guys, please take the opportunity. I will have Renee back just as often as she will allow me to have her. Maybe sometime we can get in the same room and do this together instead of in separate rooms. But please share below anything I would love to, as Renee would love to see as well, what are some of the things that, that you question and why? It would be good to know why, is this something that you really need? But we will end this because Miss Renee has an interview, not an interview, but she's going to go probably teach somebody else here in a little bit. So Renee, thank you so much for this part 2 as well. Again, I'm just, my brain is inflamed. Now it's swollen because of all the information that you share. And as I tell you, every single time we sit down together and talk, I walk away just a better person, feeling much more knowledgeable and understanding my own body. And I appreciate you sharing your beautiful brain with us. And we will have you on very soon.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Bye, guys. Wow, we've reached the end. But before I leave you, I'd love to hear from you. After all, it's not every day that someone reaches out and asks for your opinion. And to me, your opinion does matter. So please share this episode with anyone that you think needs to hear this message. And remember to rate, review, and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts. My name is Melissa McAllister. And until next time, thank you for being your own health advocate.